about the life in a bubble and challenges associated with it, if at all, or if you think this extended quarantine has in fact given the teams and teammates more time together than what would have been in normal circumstances.
Well, I think quarantine period is tough. It is challenging because you're confined to your rooms, and there's still no interaction with your teammates. But BioBubble does give us the space where we can interact with your teammates and support staff. And overall, I think it is something very new, and anything new is challenging. But it is what it is, and if it is required to have matches, then as players, we are ready to accept the new norm of being in the quarantine period and in the bio bubble. As players, yes, there are certain things that we have come up with a little innovative of keeping ourselves, training during the quarantine period, and even in the bio bubble. We do have time slots for training sessions, and it does help in some ways to keep yourself fit mentally and physically.
Second question is from Snehal Pradhan from Midday. She wants to know, you were a part of the Women's T20 World Cup final as one of the legends of the game honored by ICC. It was an unprecedented event despite the unfortunate loss. How did you reflect on what that event meant for the future of women's cricket in India?
Well, it was nice to watch the Indian team playing the finals in the MCG, a full packed stadium. And yes, a little disappointed that we couldn't get through the final hurdle. But again, in this format for a long period, we thought that as Indian players, an Indian team, we were not good enough. But we've broken that barrier since 2016-17, even the 2018 World Cup. The team has been doing well, and it is good to see the team played the finals in the T20 World Cup, the recently concluded. And it has done a lot of good for women's cricket in India, because any World Cup, when we qualify for the finals, the platform is huge. A lot of people follow the World Cup final. It's a platform where every team, every player would want to be part of, so that they can promote the sport globally. And I think that the Indian team right now is a serious contender in any format.
Third question, Iman Pran from Cricinfo. Last time we saw Shafali Verma making an instant impact and then going to play for India. Any young player this time around people should watch out for?
Well, I think of course Shefali is talented, and if we talk about her talent, we can go on and on about it. But we do have a couple of young talents in our side. Manali, she's a fast bowler, and we have Anaga, a left arm spinner, young under 19 player in our squad. So I think this platform gives them an exposure to interact with the overseas players, to see the national players, how they set themselves before playing a tournament, how they prepare themselves. Overall, the sort of professional approach that a professional athlete gets to the platform is what these young girls can learn through this women's GOT20 Women's Challenge.
Ananya Upendran from Women's Cricket Zone. She says you will be playing back-to-back games within a space of 24 hours. So any concerns regarding that? And what have you said to the team to make sure they are mentally prepared to counter that challenge?
But I think if you give it more space in your mind, I think it weighs you down. You just take one game at a time, one day at a time. Yes, it is going to be a bit of a challenge because the recovery time is less. The next day it's a 2 p.m. game. But again, it's important that we get these games going so that we have some game time for the players for the coming series. And all I can say is that we are here to play our best cricket, best standard of cricket, and also part of enjoying the platform, because it's a privileged tournament. Everybody would want to be part of this tournament. So as players, as a team, we are looking forward to these matches.
Two more questions. You'll be returning to cricket after a long gap. So how have you prepared individually and also as a team?
Well, as a team, of course, we did have a week of training session here before the start of the tournament. So that's about the time that we got as a team to interact and get our training sessions going. Individually, I think as soon as the lockdown was lifted, I did spend a lot of time in my training sessions in terms of fitness as well as my batting skill. And I'm definitely looking forward for the matches, because then I'll be able to gauge whether whatever a little bit of changes that I've done in terms of my batting, whether it helps me or not for my future one-day format innings.
Final question. What are your thoughts on the conditions in Sharjah? What are the points you picked up from the men's IPL games there?
Well, I think as the knockout stages start, but they did have during the league. I think the start of the IPL was quite big. Getting 200 odd runs in Sharjah Stadium, and coming to see where the total is coming around 120, 130. So that definitely reflects that the wicket is slowing down, and there is a lot of dew factor. The last game which I saw about RCB and SRH. They did speak about the dew factor and how it is difficult for the bowlers to grip. But again, it is all an experienced, seasoned players will find a way out. But the inexperienced players, for them, it's an exposure how to deal with these variables or factors during the match, and how they can take help from the senior players and probably prepare themselves for these matches.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I think he's covered pretty much everything. There's this obvious impression over the last many years of more aggressive cricket or a more aggressive approach by your team members or all the cricketers coming up. Is that a conscious kind of attitude, or is it something that it's grown over the years?
But I think the format itself demands it, that you need to express yourself, and it's a short format, so everything is like you're on a fast track. So naturally the body language, the attitude, everything sort of becomes a little more aggressive, and it is good because when we started the T20 format, naturally this leaks into the one-day format, where we've seen that it has actually helped the women's sport from, say, scoring 150, 200 totals to 300 totals in the World Cup, and that definitely has benefited the way people perceive the women's standard.
Also, you kind of lightly mentioned about the gap in before playing competitive cricket. There's been quite a bit of gap for everybody, not just players. Competitive cricket coming back after a while. What's the biggest challenge in that regard that you will face when you play your first match? What's the thing that describe that thing to us? What is it, the one thing that you're going to be?
Well, actually, I'm quite curious because usually what happens is we come from a season or at least few games under our belt, sort of girls who find rhythm already have some runs under them, some wickets under them, or the ones who are searching for a form. I have already worked on it, but now here all of us are coming in with a clean slate. Absolutely no. Unfortunately, we don't have any games. So it's something that I'm looking forward to, how this can, how the players react to it. Like, are we prepared, or it takes time, because I've seen that in the men's game, that in at least the couple of games, all the players have taken time to get used to it. Unfortunately, we don't have that sort, because it's just 2-3 games before the finals. But again, as much as you're curious, even I'm curious to see how it works out.